flow of the river, and therefore it backs up within the catchment.
Along coastal areas, the destruction of mangrove forests and their conversion into built-up areas also increase the likelihood of floods. Mangrove plants act as natural buffers against storms, so that the effect of storm surges on the land is lessened. The plants also act as sponges for flood water, as excessive runoff can be drained into mangrove swamps. These plants also reduce the polluting effect of flooding on the ocean by acting as a filter that cleanses the water before releasing it. And then there is the dumping into our rivers and drains of everything from cars to refrigerators to household garbage, a sad practice that leads to reduced drainage capacity and, of course, flooding when the rainy season comes. Flooding can have devastating and widespread impact on man and the environment. Primarily, there is the tragic loss of human lives. An entire season of crops can be destroyed, and livestock washed away by raging floodwaters, leading to food shortages and a staggering rise in food prices. Flood damage also leads to the spread of diseases. As water flows over an area, it can pick up all sorts of waste, chemicals and pollutants such as carcasses, which can contaminate food and water supplies and cause outbreaks of waterborne diseases like cholera and dysentery. Another serious impact on flooding is the damage to homes and buildings beyond repair. There is also the danger of explosions and fires from leaking gas lines, as well as an increase in pests, vermin, and other dangerous animals that have been flooded out of their habitats. Severe flooding can also cause extensive damage to roads, bridges, and public utilities, disrupting power to essential services such as water and electricity supply, and preventing emergency personnel from reaching people in need of help. There are some proven strategies to help prevent and reduce the impact of floods, and these strategies can be either in the form of flood control or flood management. As part of flood management, another measure is the regular cleansing of drains and water channels.
Worldwide, there is a change of focus from flood control towards flood management. Those flood management strategies, they are based on a certain acceptance that floods do take place. They will include measurements like early warning systems, evacuation plans. They include the acceptance that, of different flood risks for different areas, where you can have a higher flood risk for an agricultural area than an urban area. Two examples of flood management strategies are the compartmentalization of areas, where you accept certain areas to flood before other ones do, which means that certain areas you have to evacuate before you have to evacuate the other areas. Another strategy is to design green rivers. Green rivers take floodwaters during extreme discharges. So generally they don't convey any water, but during extreme events it's better to know where the water flows than just have extensive flooding taking place.
With regard to buildings and roads, regulations governing how these are constructed and what types of materials are used to build them should be established and enforced. These include building on stilts and using materials strong enough to withstand the pressure of high volumes of flowing water. Farmers should also practice crop rotation to maintain soil fertility and construct terraces to reduce erosion. We can prepare for flood events by contacting our local Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management for tips on preparing emergency kits and developing evacuation plans. It is also important that we purchase flood insurance for our homes and businesses.
It is very difficult to come after the fact to correct some of the problems. There are a number of initiatives being implemented both in Trinidad and throughout the region. The Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency is also very much involved, and they are trying very hard to get countries like Belize, Guyana, St. Vincent, Barbados, Trinidad, to come together and share their experiences and to develop systems that can be spread throughout the Caribbean, that can work within the Caribbean. And these are some of the initiatives that need to be expanded, especially the use of the community and involving the community in some of these initiatives, and also to provide an awareness of what is required, what has to be done, and how they can play their part in alleviating some of the anthropogenic activities that impact on flooding.
As we conclude, remember that although floods are primarily natural events, human activity also influences the frequency and severity of this natural hazard. So, our best defenses against flooding are caring for our environment so that we don't make flooding worse, and preparedness to reduce harmful effects on ourselves and our families.